It's coming up, preparing to live stream. Yeah, just a second. Okay, it's now streaming live. All right, thanks, guys. All right, let's go. I have another Shimazini, but that's not so optimistic. Shima's had a very dark side. But let me kick it off by going first straight away. The person who's showing up on my screen first, and that's Ravi. Ravi, are you ready to share something with us? You're on mute, Ravi. Ravi, you're on mute.
Uh, can I share screen?
Just a second. I need to make sure that. Yeah, try it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, go.
This was a poem that I did on the 10th of March in 2019 for my cousin and his betrothed then, who are married, happily married now. I titled it Prothalamian, though it's not as good as the well-known Prothalamian of Edmund Spenser, the remarkable Elizabethan poet. For Aniruddha Kadambi and Gretchen Stephenson. I knew there was something in the air when a golden oriole sang at my window at dawn, before my ears grew dull to the day. The bottle brush was busy adding a late touch to the sky, with delicate red to fool the sunbird. As I threw open the windows, the miners began their incessant quarrel, yet unwilling to fly down from their green caverns. Julia, the flambeau, was already winging to gather the nectar, dew fresh and unstirred. The basil, darkly green, and the jasmine, carpet bombing the bed with its blossoms, spiked the air with their mingled aroma. When the bold squirrels skipped, stopped, and scampered across the still strip between sentinel shelters, as though it were a mail runner from beyond my childhood, carrying upon its thrice blessed back happy tidings even on this Sunday morning of hearts uniting across all futile divides. I knew then that there was a blessing in the air. Thank you.
Wow,
Beautiful.
beautiful. What a
Very good.
wonderful
I
poem.
think that's marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. What a fine poem.
That was lovely, as usual.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
There is a pictorial quality about this poem. You have pictured the scene.
Yes, I mean,
I must also confess that the poem owes somewhere to a classical Kannada poet, the patriarch of Kannada poetry, really. Harihara, he has a poem called Pushpa Ragade, which talks about various flowers that he is going to cull to worship Virupaksha at Hampe before the sun rises, even before the first priest can touch and sully the flowers. So he goes on describing the flowers that he's going to collect from his garden. It's a poem that all of us in Karnataka read as children, school children. And it was with me all the while, and this occasion kind of found an echo for those gleanings.
It's lovely. Ravi's been a wonderful find in the last 6 months. He was attended a few sessions. Lovely, lovely Ravi. And we're gonna move on to Omkarji. And one of the things we usually do for a non-Hindi speaker or non-language speaker, whichever language the poem is to either translate or give a sense of the poem or the poem is all about. Of course, most poems are are untranslatable across cultures. So, but we try. And Onkar writes his very nice pithy poems, which are even more difficult to translate simply because they're sort of rooted in the milieu and the culture of all parts of India. Omkarji, over to you.
Thank you. I must say it was a very difficult topic. Actually, wedding would not have been such a difficult topic. Wedding season was a more difficult topic. So I kept struggling, could not write, but today I finally managed to write a poem which I am going to recite. First of all, wedding season I have translated as Shadi Ka Mausam, which is not a very good translation, but it's okay. This is what I have translated wedding season as. शादी के मौसम में कई लोग जुड़ेंगे, शादी के मौसम में कई लोग जुड़ेंगे, न जाने जुड़ेंगे या टूटेंगे, कुछ टूटेंगे झटके से जैसे टूटता है तिनका, कुछ टूटेंगे झटके से जैसे टूटता है तिनका, कुछ टूटेंगे आहिस्ता से जैसे टूटते हैं किनारे, कुछ अपने आप टूटेंगे, कुछ टूटेंगे दबाव में, कुछ अपने आप टूटेंगे, कुछ टूटेंगे दबाव में, कुछ आवाज के साथ टूटेंगे, कुछ टूटेंगे चुपचाप, कुछ टूट तो जाएंगे पर अलग नहीं होंगे, कुछ टूट तो जाएंगे पर अलग नहीं होंगे, जैसे पेड़ से चिपकी हो अध टूटी टहनी, अध टूटी मीन्स हाफ ब्रोकन, कुछ टूट तो जाएंगे पर अलग नहीं होंगे, जैसे पेड़ से चिपकी हो अध टूटी टहनी, कुछ अलग तो हो जाएंगे पर टूटेंगे नहीं, कुछ अलग तो हो जाएंगे पर टूटेंगे नहीं, नए रास्ते खोजेंगे, नई पगडंडियां बनाएंगे, कुछ टूटकर दोबारा जुड़ जाएंगे, ऐसे कि पता ही ना चले कि कभी टूटे भी थे, कुछ टूटकर दोबारा जुड़ जाएंगे, ऐसे कि पता ही ना चले कि कभी टूटे भी थे, कुछ जुड़ तो जाएंगे पर एक दरार के साथ जो जीवित रखेगी फिर से टूटने की संभावना, थोड़ा बहुत सभी टूटेंगे, थोड़ा बहुत सभी टूटेंगे, पर सबसे ज्यादा वही टूटेंगे जिन्हें देखकर लगेगा कि ये कभी नहीं टूटेंगे. थैंक यू.
And that was brilliant. Yeah,
It was amazing.
You are at your best out here, Onkar.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was brilliant.
And it was all about the breakups after wedding,
Yes.
after marriage.
Yes.
Yes. Onkar, you want to
Beautifully
give a
done.
flavor? Onkar, you want to give a flavor of all this to our non-Hindi speakers on the panel, because it is a little complicated poem to translate, but give it a shot.
Yes, basically, I've connected wedding season with breakup, as Cyrus said, and I have tried to assimilate all different types of breakup that I could think of. Like I said that some breakups would happen soon, some breakups would happen slowly, some would happen with a very
Snap.
suddenly.
Snap.
Yes, with a snap.
Somebody happened.
And
Snap.
some will make a lot of sound. Everybody in the society will know that yes, there is a breakup, and some people will succumb to their breakup. They will not be able to recover from the breakup, and some people will be able to recover from it. They will be able to start a new life, And finally, what I have said is everybody will break up to some extent. Uh, the process of marriage involves the process of breaking up. But if it is to break up, the biggest breakup will be the breakup where it seems that it is so intact that it will not break up. So,
Yeah,
Very
lovely.
nice.
I mean,
thank you.
I think you use the similes very well in this, Onkar.
And you
Lovely.
know, very deep seated truths happening. You know, they're coming out very deep seated truths like factual,
Uh,
what you read and what you see and stuff like that, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're pretty well home truths. Okay, thank you, Onkarji. Lovely. If we have time permits, we'll come back to you again for a lovely poem. And let me then move on to Sanjay. Sanjay, I believe you have a Shiva Srini poem in your back pocket. You're on mute.
Oh, you've outdone me, Raji. You've already recited the poem I had in mind. So what
Oh
I'm
my
going, yes. So so you owe me dinner for that. But
Yeah, yeah.
moving on. So what I've done is I've taken a poem from Sahir Ludhianvi, and it's
Wow.
called Khana Abadi. Now, Sahil Ludhianvi was upset with a friend of his who wronged a young lady with whom he was going around for a number of years. And under parental pressure, this gentleman succumbed to marrying somebody of equal status. So this gentleman was the son of a zamindar, and the lady he was involved with was of a lower social status, shall we say. So he was a close friend of Sahil Ludhianvi, so Sahil had to attend his wedding. So this is a poem he wrote on that occasion. And although he's there, he's attending the wedding, but he's not entirely happy about the whole thing. And he can't bring himself to congratulate his friend on getting married. So this is how it goes. Khana Abadi. Khana in Persian is house. Abadi is uh, to to set up a household. Basically, that's to starting a grihasthi. So that's Khana Abadi. The poem goes this way. तराने गूंज उठे हैं फजा में शादियानों के हुआ है इत्र अंगी जर्रा जर्रा मुस्कुराता है मगर दूर एक अफसरदा मकाम सर्द बिस्तर पर मगर दूर एक अफसरदा मकाम में सर्द बिस्तर पर कोई दिल है कि हर आहट पे यूं ही चौंक जाता है मेरी आंखों में आंसू आ गए नादीदा आंखों के मेरे दिल में कोई गमगीन नगमा सरसराता है ये रस्म इनकता अहद उल्फत ये हयात नौ मोहब्बत रो रही है और तमदुन मुस्कुराता है ये शादी खाना आबादी हो मेरे मोहतरम भाई मुबारक कह नहीं सकता मेरा दिल कांप जाता है ओके so this is basically he's feeling for the girl who's been ditched by this gentleman that's the poem that it's it's okay on even on the occasion of a marriage. Sahir is incapable of feeling good about it and is unable to congratulate this guy because of the circumstances in which the wedding is taking place. Do you want me to explain this some specific words? तराने गूंज उठे हैं फजा में शादियानों के शादियाना is a shehnai type instrument which is used in weddings. हुआ है इत्र अंगीन everything is scented. Itr, zarra zarra muskurata hai. Every atom seems to be in muskurata hai, is smiling. मगर दूर एक अफसरदा मकाम है अफसरदा is a sadness अफसरदा मकाम है सर्द बिस्तर पर कोई दिल है कि हर आहट पे यूं ही चौंक जाता है. He's referring to the lady who's been jilted. मेरी आंखों में आंसू आ गए नादीदा आंखों के. My eyes were filled with tears of those eyes which cannot see. Nadida is which cannot see. I mean, he's crying on behalf of this lady. मेरे दिल में कोई गमगीन नगमा सरसराता है रस में मोहब्बत रो रही है और तमद्दुन मुस्कुराता है romance has been injured. Tamaddun is civilization, culture. It's again compulsion. ये शादी खाना आबादी हो मेरे मोहतरम भाई. खाना आबादी, like I said, is starting a household. ये शादी खाना आबादी हो. I hope you settle into your new household. मेरे मोहतरम भाई. मोहतरम is one who is respected. मुबारक कह नहीं सकता, मेरा दिल कांप जाता है. Okay, I cannot really congratulate you because my heart's not into it. Thank you.
Very nice.
Very nice.
A sad poem, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a congratulatory poem, but sad.
Yeah, I mean, this is, generally when we get a topic, I start searching for anything connected to that topic. And this is what I could find.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So number of sad poems still connected to the wedding season.
Yeah.
Are not small numbers. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Sanjay. Thanks a lot. And let's move on. Gunika, you are next on my screen. Are you good to go?
Okay. Keeping with our theme, the wedding season, my poem goes like this. There is nothing more opulent or exciting than the wedding season, even if you are not invited. And if you do happen to be invited to one or two, then there's so much to do. Clothes to decide, footwear to take out, and of course, jewels and other such hullabaloo. And no one is, I'm sure, thinking about the ones getting married. The men fussing about their bow ties, the women about their handbags. And oh, yes, the no lunch today day, because obviously. But then is the season of glitter and glamour, of loud noises and drum rolls, of traffic jams and late nights, of blessings and happiness, of gifting and receiving, of sweets and sweet nothings, of union and communion, of holding and letting go, of new beginnings and happy endings, of forever and always, of hopes and dreams and promises to keep, only because two people decided to fall in love. Thank you.
Very nice.
Wow, adorable.
This is a poem totally different from my poem.
Yeah,
It's
it's the
very
opposite.
positive.
Actually, it's the
Yes.
opposite.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
totally opposite. Good.
Uh,
There should be something positive also.
Onkar, I have a marriage to attend on Monday evening, and this session has given me a thought that besides the usual envelope with the 2001 rupees in it, I think I'll slip in a poem. And I'm very sure I will not slip in your poem, Onkar. I think I'll slip in a more optimistic poem.
Gunika's poem will be more appropriate.
Gunika's poem will be more appropriate to to include in that envelope of good news. Yeah. Okay, fantastic, Gunika. As usual, our lovely in-house poet laureate, Gunika is always there. And I see Jasbir. I missed her. Jasbir has also joined in. And Jasbir is our immediate poetry writer. But let me move on and let me. Okay, who's next? Divya, you are next. You wanna take it away?
No, I think you would have to excuse me for this time. I'm very sorry for this. So
You don't have to be sorry. I just.
I'm more than happy listening to it. Yes.
Sure.
But if I'll have
And-
something to contribute, I'll do that towards the end of the session.
Oh yes, and if you think it's worth it, you can of course join our WhatsApp group, and then you can be the bathroom poet. quietly slip in one when you think you're ready for it. Vritti, I'm gonna skip you, but raise your hand if you think. But yeah, hey, you've changed your hairstyle. Yeah, what happened? You know,
Yeah, we're
you
just getting out of the monotonous mode.
yes.
No, no, I could pull out something, but I will keep it for the last. Really.
All right. Yeah, yeah. We always have our last minute back pocket poets,
Mhm.
which is always lovely. Which is always lovely. But then let me move on and let me have Rohini next on my screen. Rohini, why have you suddenly gone all dark? Have you lost the light? No,
Because
it's in your room.
there was no electricity for a while.
Ah, maybe that's why. All right. Go for it,
Okay.
Rohini.
I'm reading out a very short poem by Carol Ann Duffy. She is actually a professor of poetry at Manchester, and she has written a book called The World's Wives. It is a collection of poetry which mocks or ridicules famous legends, myths, which are men. So I'm reading out a very short one, which is about Mrs. Charles Darwin, writing about Charles, of course. So 17th April 1852, Mrs. Darwin went to the zoo. I said to him, "Something about that chimpanzee over there reminds me of you." This is it.
That was more like a
Oh my
haiku.
God.
And
I just love it so much.
and there was a light bulb that went up over Charles Darwin's head, and he said, "Oh,
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
So
Yes, yes.
I just find it so amusing. So this entire book is a collection on different people, famous people, including Shakespeare and Medusa. I mean, this is used in class 11 and 12 in IB schools. So I decided to read the shortest one. There's Little Red Cap and Queen Herod. So in the next round, perhaps I'll select another one.
I like the name Queen Herod."
Sure, absolutely.
And Pilate's wife is there too.
Spice. Yes. But this is the sweetest, shortest, and it has a big punch. So
Lovely.
thank you.
Yes, lovely,
And that
lovely.
too in 1852. I mean, being so flippant about it.
No, that's the year. Pilate's wife will have written hers in whatever,
Yeah,
minus 2 BC or whatever.
I know.
She doesn't have dates for everyone. Only for Charles Darwin, she has a date.
Interesting, huh?
We have Julian. We have Julian with us also.
Yes, here is Julian. Another person from Malaysia. Lovely to have you, Julian. Wonderful to have you. We are going around the table as usual. Rohini just did hers. And our next poet laureate is Jasbir, who I'm sure started writing the poetry when the session began and would have finished by now.
Stop it.
Go for it, Jasbir. Go for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Wedding season. Beautiful was she and also deft. At the traffic light crossroad with her siblings, mom and dad, happy was she. Smilingly, she waved through the cars, tapping at the windows, seeking for monies. Morning and evening, he saw her. She noticed him and blushed. The parents noticed, time for her to go. The wedding season in their midst, trousseau, guests, feast, new life. Henna on her hands and feet. Separation sorrows of their sweetheart, tears just welled up voices choked off and on. Strange to them all, this wedding season. General happiness, of course, prevailed. The singing birds joining in their joy, joyous were they for their divine catch, for their comely daughter. She had found her prince charming, who was wealthy in boundless love, at peace that she would sail from one love to another. They prayed their gamble would be a fairy tale of happily ever after. Thank you.
Interesting images, but it's a juxtaposition of a lot of imagery over there. The girl tapping at the window and blushing. An interesting poem.
So many dimensions, one topic brings out so many dimensions, different perspectives. That's very interesting.
Yes, yes. I would have said the one theme which was on ice cream, which I was
Correct. Ice
told,
cream, right?
I was told by my wife that it's such a juvenile topic, and the way it flowered was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. That was stunning. Nothing short of stunning, Rajiv. I
Yes,
never expected that. It's
I
beyond
never
all
expected.
imagination.
Yes, I never expected ice cream to to melt and take such turns. Okay, all right. Let's move on. I have on my screen is Dipali. Dipali, you wanna go and take it away?
I'll just read out. I've just tried to write something today, so I may fumble also in between. Coincidentally, at this point of time, we also have we have so many high-profile weddings happening in the country right now. So I think the topic is also apt in that way. But in my write-up, I'm trying to draw a thin line between how people just look up to weddings in their life and in the process miss out on the marriage which it actually leads up to. I wonder, is this all about chandeliers, big gardens, loud music, choreography, or is it more about you and me finding each other in a maze and holding hands together to stay forever? Wedding is about two people coming together and taking vows, but marriage is about staying together and living those vows every day. It's not just about people and the fuzz around, but marriage is what transpires between the two every day. Wedding may be just about decor, food, and beauty, but marriage is finding peace and joy even in the most ugliest times. Wedding may be just about festive songs and band baja barat, but marriage has many countless nights of silence that we cherish in each other's arm and feel like that they were the best of conversations ever. Sometimes, wedding overshadows the purpose of marriage. Wedding finishes in a day or two, but the marriage is a work in progress for life. Marriage is a process of finding beauty in the most mundane tasks of life. It's not just about funny events and huge langas, but it's also about making the daily grocery list with all the masalas in place. The charm of wedding may fade, but the beauty of marriage should grow with each passing day. To grow old together and accept each other with all the flaws and qualities is not easy. And not just as a unit, but as two individuals who are growing and nurturing in their own journeys of life and meet each other halfway. In one of the famous poems of Khalil Gibran on marriage, he beautifully says, "Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another your bread, but not eat from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone also." So as you dream of your weddings, commit to what is beyond the weddings, to the marriage that comes along with it, and try to fill it with love, respect, space, and acceptance for each other. Thank you.
Oh, very good.
Beautiful.
This angle
Very
is
nice.
very good.
Yeah.
Good.
Wedding and marriage. This angle is very good.
Are two different
I think
things completely. I
the way you
agree.
made the
And
distinction
beautifully.
between the two, I think very well done.
Lovely.
Thank
Very
you.
nice. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you. Thanks,
Very
Yasmin.
nice.
Lovely, lovely. Chalo, let me move on to then Julian. Shanid had asked to be excused this time. I hope she's enjoying the poetry. Julian, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. Yeah.
I don't have a wedding themed poem, but
Yeah, that's all right.
Past lives. Maybe we knew each other in past lives. I was a horse and you a unicorn. This is why our can'ts in this world are like canters. We are maybes trotting in different directions. We are don'ts galloping across the horizon, as if the grass were grander on the other side. Maybe we were insects. I was an ant and you a dragonfly. You hovered, then paused on a leaf. I scampered around you like a frantic puppy, nipping lightly, then backing off, until you peered at me with those googly eyes, searching for some reciprocation, then flew off. Maybe with the tortoise and the hare, I slow and steady, you fast and frenzied. There was never a race, only a blurred glimmer of my ancient face as you sped by. Then I was run over and you were gone. Maybe we were the Sphinx and the pyramid. I was pointy-headed and looking up. You were regal and lounging serenely, looking yonder. I was naked in the sun. You were tanning after a run. And then the sandstorm hit us, and we were buried under and forgotten. Maybe we would never meet again. In the next life, and the life after that, and the life after that life. Maybe these fleeting moments are all we have. No pharaonic beginnings, fairy tale endings, or Aesopian also rans. Just these poems in our cans.
Oh, very
Beautiful.
nice.
Very
That's marvelous. Absolutely
Lovely,
marvelous.
lovely.
Oh my God. I mean,
Very
it's
nice.
fantastic. Just
Lovely.
blew me away.
Julian, you have outdone yourself on this one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Love and longing, all in one poem.
And what imagery. I mean, excellent.
Beautiful.
It's really very well put.
Lovely, lovely.
And the use of that word tanning and the sun, that was very good play of words.
Yeah. All the can'ts versus the cans.
Yes. The purest form of love, it seems.
Lovely, Julian. Julian, you wanna send this poem to me? Maybe I'll slip this one in the envelope by Julian Matthews, and then wish the married couple.
Who are we talking about? I'm a little lost.
Okay, you lost me. On Monday, I have a marriage to attend. So I usually in the Indian custom we give some money in an envelope, like
Same here. Yeah.
in Malaysia also. Yeah, and I was thinking of slipping in a poem along with the money, which I think to my mind is more valuable than the money. So I'm thinking maybe I'll slip in this one, Julian.
Okay.
You're
Yeah, I'll send it to. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, have I left out anybody? Yes, thank you, Julian. Hang on, we still have Cyrus and our second rounds to go.
Raji, just one second. We need to get Julian's poem and Ravi's poem in the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
I'd like to forward it again.
I agree.
We must have them.
Ravi,
All the poems, frankly.
Ravi, if you can send that poem to Julian, and Julian then can WhatsApp me, and I'll put it on the WhatsApp group.
Oh, sure, can do that.
Our poetry WhatsApp group, because some things we need to secure and then reread them. Lovely poems. I was really amazed. Ravi, if you can, much
Can do.
Okay, all right. I think I've got everybody around the table. And then, of course, as the icing on the cake, we always have Cyrus with his singing.
And we
Let's
also have
get up.
Vritti. What about Vritti? She said she'll come in later.
Vritti, you wanna come in now or come in later?
I guess let Cyrus's song stays as icing on the cake, and I'll just go now.
Well, yes, you can be the cherry on the icing at the end of the thing. That's all.
No, I think
That
I think she wants to go now, Rajiv.
yeah.
Vritti,
So
Vritti,
I'll go
Mike,
now. So we'll leave the
Mike.
singing for the last.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So well, honestly, I've written after a long time, and this I can't write on wedding. I just cannot relate to this kind of a relation. But this is something which I thought is the truth, and so I decided to pen it down, and I call it living out of boxes. So it goes like life's boxes. We hold them near, some from need, some from fear. We think they make us whole and sound, yet in this circle, truths are found. We say we can't live without a box, an attachment's grip, we are tied like knots. But when one's gone, we search for more, inventories filled as before. We call each other selfish, it's true, but miss the self within in our view. Till one day, time takes our own, our box vanishes, and we are alone.
Mm. Yeah,
Very nice, beautiful.
Vritti should
Very
really
nice.
come more
Lovely.
often. I think it's. So I'm gonna bug you next time. Have you around.
Certainly.
Uh, all right. Okay.
Vicky, we missed you a lot.
Yes.
I missed
Believe
you
it.
all a lot as
Yes,
well.
yes, please.
But I'll be regular. I'm like I promise to myself that I'll try and be regular.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Excellent. Chalo. Okay. Cyrus, you
Sure. Yeah.
got.
So maybe before I start the song, just talk a little bit about it. So Leonard Cohen's lyrics are always steeped in imagery, often biblical, historical, always sensual. Cohen uses his imagery of the wedding in quite a few of his songs and poems. Take his song Joan of Arc, for instance. His lyric describes her terrible end, almost like a loving embrace, a wedding of fire and flesh. In one of the verses, Cohen writes, "Well then, fire, make your body cold. I'm going to give you mine to hold." Saying this, she climbed inside, to be his one, to be his only bride. And deep into his fiery heart, he took the dust of Joan of Arc. And high above the wedding guests, he hung the ashes of her wedding dress. In another song, Last Year's Man, Cohen writes, "I came across a wedding that old families had contrived. Bethlehem, the bridegroom, Babylon, the bride. Great Babylon was naked, oh, she stood there trembling for me, and Bethlehem inflamed us both like a shy one at some orgy." A different sort of wedding. Interestingly enough, even in this Last Year's Man, Cohen references Joan of Arc. With your permission, Rajiv, I'd share Last Year's Man with all of you tonight. The rain falls down on last year's man. harp on the table, there's a crayon in his hand, and the corners of the blueprint are ruined since they rolled far past the stems of thumbtacks that still throw shadows on the wood. And the skylight is like skin for a drum I'll never mend, and all the rain falls down, amen, on the works of last year's man. I met a lady, she was playing with her soldiers in the dark. One by one she had to tell them that her name was Joan of Arc. I was in that army. Yes, I stayed a little while. I want to thank you, Joan of Arc, for treating me so well. Though I wear a uniform, I was not born to fight. All these wounded boys you lie beside. Good night, my friends, good night. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived. Bethlehem, the bridegroom, Babylon, the bride. Great Babylon was naked. Oh, she stood there trembling for me. Bethlehem inflamed us both like a shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that I had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Some women weep for Jesus, some women wait for Cain. So I hang upon my altar and I hoist my axe again. And I take the one who finds me back to where it all began, where Jesus was the honeymoon and Cain was just a man. And we read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that the wilderness is gathering all its children back again. The rain falls down on last year's man. An hour has gone by, he has not moved his hand. But everything will happen if he only gives the word. The lovers will rise up and the mountains touch the ground. But the skylight is like skin for a drum I'll never mend. And all the rain falls down, amen, on the works of
Cyrus.
Lovely.
Oh, that was so beautiful, Cyrus.
Wow,
Lovely.
beautiful.
Cyrus.
Thank you.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Loved it. And that melancholy tone of singing different than than your usual upbeat tone. I think that was lovely. Loved
Thank
it.
you.
Like going on a long drive in the rain and this song playing. So awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Then Ravi is writing lovely, Cyrus moving, and I totally echo that.
Thanks all.
All right. Okay. Okay. Our usual 1 hour is up, but as is our tradition, we give chance for people to pull out their poems from the back pockets or have another one they want to share. This is unstructured, so if anybody wants to pull out a poem, we would love to hear it. And just uh, as an aside and to kick the informal session, I want to share a poem, and it is I think Rohini, you did Carol Ann Duffy, and I fell in love with Carol Ann Duffy when I read her book called Rapture many years ago, and there was a lovely poem called Cuba. And it's a love poem by Carol Ann Duffy. So if you will permit me, I can read that one out for you, for everybody, in fact. So here's a love poem by Carol Ann Duffy, Cuba. No getting up from the bed in this grand hotel and getting dressed like a work of art rubbing itself out. No lifting the red rose from the room service tray when you leave, as though you might walk to the lip of a grave and toss it down. No glass of champagne left to go flat in the glow of the bedside lamp, the frantic bubbles swimming for the light. No white towel strewn like a shroud on the bathroom floor. No brief steam on the mirror there for a finger to smudge in a heart, an arrow, a name. No soft soap rubbed between four hands. No flannel. No future plans. No black cab, sad hearse on the rank. No queue there. No getting away from this. No goodnight kiss. No Cuba. That was, that was a
Oh,
lovely,
lovely, lovely.
that's a lovely love poem. And I remember I used to actually perform this with a guitar. I mean, somebody else used to play the guitar, and I tried to convince Cyrus to get his guitar to one of our meetings, and we could do that. But lovely. Okay, let me throw the house open. Anybody else for seconds out here? Ravi, there you go. Please unmute and take it away. Ravi, you need to unmute.
Yeah, I wanted to read this poem because I did this especially for today's theme, and I did it today, so it might interest you. It's hastily titled Of Wedding Seasons. Like there's a season for everything, weddings too are seasonal and need a plan. Gold, marriage halls, and caterers grow rare in season, while hearts waiting grow old. The world at its coolest station and harvest just in. Boats find it easy to ford rivers while hills are yet green, while parents check their bank accounts counting days. Invites all have gone out before the season opened. How does it matter if a preposition is misplaced? As long as proposals and those who are subject to prosper. After all, The registrar of marriage could not care much about grammar. I have a grouse about how unruly drivers park their cars anyhow, making my drive rather tricky and almost dangerous. As I negotiate the black ribbon riddled with potholes between the crematorium and the state-of-the-art marriage hall, brightly lit all over. The season brings much wealth to all but the parents celebrating, though, by convention, they are required to be happy and relieved. It is a season where the unmarried wonder if their time is over, or if they would be found by the turn of the season next time around. I have wondered why all our lovers of repute fell out of season, though. There is something about the wedding season that makes love old-fashioned. If you are in love, then you are perhaps not in season, my friend. Join me then. I shall drive you through these crowded streets, beyond the decked horse, the well-decked hall, to that bar, where I can show you two young hearts still heaving the earth. Thank you.
Oh, lovely.
Yes,
Wow.
bravo.
And
Bravo.
And you wrote this today?
Yeah, I wrote it today.
Wow.
It's marvelous. Marvelous. I
Marvelous.
especially like the ending. I think the last line is absolutely out of the world.
It transports you to a different side.
Brilliant. Brilliant, Ravi.
Very
Thank
nice.
God. Yes.
I may have to leave soon because I'm joining another
Marriage party?
another group which is reading a poet from United States. It's not open mic. It is just
Okay.
we are reading once a month. We read some poets' work.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. We used to do that during COVID times. We used to have, in fact, 2 or 3 meetings in a week where we used to sometimes have subjects of individual poets. I still remember the Shakespeare one with
Right,
much
yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
Okay.
And I remember, and
Yes.
Cyrus came up with a truly original sonnet there, I recall. That was
Yes.
brilliant.
Cyrus did the original sonnet on there.
The 156th sonnet.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, I have one on about wedding, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And whoever wants to leave, please do so. Politely. No, yeah. We can carry on. Gunika?
Yeah, so this is about a girl getting married. Okay. And she walks down the wedding aisle, her world lights up with every smile. There she sees her father stand, regally dressed, all proud and tanned. Her eyes glitter with unushed tears. She's suddenly confronted with all her fears. Her childhood comes flashing back, where she's running on a rocky track. With sunlight streaming through her hair, her father scoops her up in the air. She squeaks with unbridled delight, her father's eyes shine so bright. And when he twirls and puts her down, he sees her in her wedding gown. Time's flown fast, he thinks with pride, his little girl is now a bride. Mother stands with utmost grace of sadness, she shows no trace, but only her girl can see the little tears shining like diamonds in her ears. She then sees her little sister there, knowing she's going to miss her care. And as she nears the wedding hall, an outstretched hand breaks her fall. She looks up to see her soul mate, happy in her well chosen fate. Slowly she walks around the holy flame, each step a new claim. Her hand is given in hand to another in holy matrimony, bound together. While the priest chants the holy verse, she feels a shift in her universe. Hennaed hands throw rice flakes behind as they fall in mother's pallu aligned. As she feels the distance growing apart, she carries a piece of them in her heart. With a brave smile, she glances the last time she can hear the temple bells chime. A strong, reassuring hand closes her near. A finger wipes a falling tear. She looks up and her vermilion glows. The silver rings sing on her tiny toes. Another day, a new life. Now she is a wife.
Yes.
Wow, beautiful.
A rhyming
I
poem
wrote
with a
this when
difference.
my daughter was getting married. I wrote this basically for her.
For yourself or for her?
Actually, my feelings coming out.
Yes.
You know, that image of the little girl being thrown up into the air by her father, and then when she lands, she's
She's all in the wedding gown.
in the
Time
wedding
goes
gown.
so fast. Time
Yeah,
flies.
that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Wow, very nice, Kunika.
Okay, okay. Anybody else?
If there isn't, then I think Jasbir has a
There
poem.
is. There is. Just weird. Have you written another one while we were talking?
Yeah, sort of. Sort of.
Yeah. There you go. Go
Uh,
on, Gizli.
it's a very short one.
Sure.
It is the wedding fixed. There was a happiness mix. Saying their goodbyes in the decorated cars, the embraces of the bride and the parents. The father quipped, "Only today I realize you're my daughter. All this while I thought you're my son." All this while I kept saying, "Son, son, son." You know, you say put, put, put. And because going away from him is heart and home. Thank you.
An interesting thought.
And if I may add, a very Punjabi. Jasbir, you're on mute.
In Punjabis, they read a sehra. Sehra, you know, they read a poem or something while for the bride and the groom and all of that. And actually, it was a father who, I mean, he said it in English, and I've sort of made a absolute horrible translation of it. That's what he said. He said, "Put karda si main, par ad pata chalya tuti hai." Like all the while, I kept calling you son, son, son. You know, you say na putte kar le. And today, with tears streaming down his face, he said, "Today I know. I came to know you were actually my daughter." Sort of.
Even in Hindi,
Punjabi, culturally very Punjabi also, you know. So,
Rajiv, even in Hindi, I mean, young girls are so often referred to as "beta ye kar de, wo kar de." You know, you're speaking of them in the masculine gender, not for any sexist reason. It's just that's how
Just
it's
comes out
said.
naturally, you know.
but I can tell you one of the most sexist statements I had ever heard on this one was when I was younger, I used to play tennis. And once in the club, me and another guy were playing, and there were a couple of very Punjabi gentlemen passing behind us. So I hit a shot which just missed that guy, hit the line and went off. Brilliant shot. And the gentleman behind me said, "Lagda nahi aise munda paida hoya hai." Means the shot is like as if a son has been born. So again, a very Punjabi statement, but that's what it is. Hey, that's what Punjabis are. So there you go. All right, Cyrus,
Yeah.
you want to?
Sure. If there's nobody else, then I can end off with a song.
Let's wind it up with Cyrus song, as is the tradition.
So this one's not on the subject of weddings, but I was reminded of it with Julian's poem of the can and the can't, and it's so often that we find people who are ready to tell us you can't do this and you won't be able to do that, and so this is a song that I I've written a long time back, and it's called Didn't They Tell You? Ain't it funny how you sold your soul for a paltry bit of miser's gold? Your eyes have died, your face is made of wood. Didn't they tell you now of Judas? Didn't they tell you how he would as soon have paid back twice the sum if he but could? Didn't they tell you what would happen to a ship without its captain? To a man who goes through life without a friend? Didn't you know you should not do it? Didn't you know that you would rue it? Didn't you know you'd have to pay up in the end? La da 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 la da 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 Didn't they tell you you wouldn't make it? Didn't they tell you you couldn't take it? Now you know you're slowly going around the bend, and like a lamb that goes to slaughter, like a fish that's out of water, you know now that you have really reached the end. Ain't it funny how you sold your soul for a paltry bit of miser's gold? Your eyes have died, your face is made of wood. Didn't they tell you now of Judas? Didn't they tell you how he would as soon have paid back twice the sum if he but could?
Lovely.
Lovely, Cyrus. Lovely.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Lovely.
Cyrus, I must say one thing. Your songs, whenever I listen to them on Instagram, they have a very soothing and a very relaxing impact. They're like tranquil, to be honest.
Thank you.
And I really like it. This one was amazing too.
Yeah, yeah. Lovely, lovely. So,